We're back in Indianapolis at the USA Track and Field Championships. I'm Tim Ryan here on this breezy, sunny afternoon, and the next event on the track live will be the men's 400-meter run. And, of course, there was high expectation that Michael Johnson might be here, but he's out with an injury. And we had a chance to visit with him earlier today on our edition of Inside Track. Joining us on Inside Track, Michael Johnson from Dallas, Texas. He was scheduled to be here with us in Indianapolis at the U.S. Nationals, but of course the injury suffered in the match race against Donovan Bailey, putting him out of action. And how is the injury, and can you describe how it happened during the course of that race, Michael?
The injury was a strained quadricep is what it is. And it started to tighten up about 20 meters into the race, and then coming out of the curve, of course, it got a lot more intense, and that's when I actually strained it. So that's what the injury was. I was rehabbing all last week, and this week I started to actually do some workouts, some jogging, and so it's coming along slowly. It's just one of those things that happens, and you know, there's no miracle cure for it, so you just have to wait until it heals when it's ready. So I'm just getting therapy every day, and hopefully I'll be back soon.
Well, Michael, I think the fact that you were unable to finish the race because of your injury would certainly the fans would want a rematch. Is that possible?
If the right circumstances come up, you know, I'm ready to compete in a rematch if the right circumstances come up. If they don't, then I can be totally fine with that as well. You know, I'm an athlete and a professional, and I've got to go out there and run races and do what I do best. So I have to look at each particular situation as it comes, and if that comes along and it's a good situation, then I'll do it.
Michael, it's Craig Masbach. You say you're on the comeback trail. What do you think the timing is, and what does this do for your plans for the summer?
I'm hoping that my plans for the summer won't be interrupted other than having to have missed the U.S. Championships. I'm hoping that the rest of my schedule I'll be able to run the rest of those races. At this point, I'm taking it day by day, and we'll see what happens. It's coming along, as I said, slowly, and I'm not going to rush it. I want to make sure that I'm completely healthy before I go out there. So at this point, I'm just taking it day by day, and my first scheduled race is on the 25th of this month, and I'm hoping that I can make it there, but it just depends on what happens over the next week or so.
Michael, it's Dwight Stones. I'm wondering, are you at all optimistic about the chances that you might get a wild card berth into the World Championships from the IAAF later this summer?
At this point, I'm not really focused on what's going to happen with that situation. It's out of my control and out of my hands. So, you know, I'm just focused on getting healthy and the rest of the races that I have scheduled this summer. And, you know, if something happens between now and then and I get a call, then you know, I'll deal with that at that time. But at this point, you know, it's a decision that's got to be made by some other people, and once they've decided what they're going to do, I'm sure they'll get in touch with me and let me know what they've decided.
Well, Michael, you opened up with a 43.75, great time in your opener for the 400. Everybody started talking about world record. What does the injury do to that hope for this summer? Any chance for the 400-meter world record in 1997?
Well, there's always a chance, and I think that there'll still be a chance, depending on how much time I have to miss. One thing that the 43.75 early in the season does tell me is that I was in great shape before the injury, so the time that I will have to miss won't have as big an impact because I was in such good shape before becoming injured. So that's a positive, and that's a plus that we're looking at and keeping in mind as I'm trying to get healthy.
All right, Michael, we thank you for joining us from Dallas. We're sorry that you're not here, of course, and hopefully the fans around the world will have a chance to see you at the World Championship. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we're back live now, Tim, Craig, and Dwight, and of course the fans would like to see him at the World Championships. He's not making a big public case for himself here, Dwight, but that notion of possible wild cards floating around here, and of course Gail Devers, her coach Bob Kersey, hoping that she might get one. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have to tell you, I have mixed emotions about it. I think that we should have the best chance possible to get the best athletes into the meet. However, Steve Fritz has made a good point about the fact that everyone else has to go through the qualification process. I hate to see the standard bearer of track and field, and having run so well as early as April,
not be able to go back and defend his championship and maybe even have a chance at setting a world record. But there's going to be a lot of controversy on this issue.
Craig, there's nothing official yet that the IAAF is even offering wild cards. This has been largely speculation so far. I mean, join the speculation.
I think the IAAF, the International Track Organization, will listen to requests from different nations. We'll think about the implications as to whether granting wild cards will hurt national championships in the future. By encouraging athletes not to attend the national championships, they'll poll their ruling council and come to a decision, I'm sure, sometime in the next couple of weeks.